Bree.
And I'm Vanessa.
And for our project, we are doing 1-7 midpoint and distance in the coordinate plane. The first part of this lesson, I will be teaching you how to find the midpoint on a number line. So you are given a number line. This is line segment A, B. In line segment AB, you are trying to find the midpoint, which is basically just a point in the middle of both endpoints. Trying to find M, rather known as midpoint, there is one simple equation you have to follow. The equation says A plus B over 2 equals M. And that's it. Here's an example problem. It tells you to find the midpoint of AB. So we have A and B. A is -6 and B is 10. We use the formula up here, knowing that A equals -6 and B equals 10, and we -6 plus 10 over 2. -6 plus 10 is 4. 4 over 2, so 4 divided by 2, is 2. So, the midpoint of line segment AB equals 2. Putting it on the number line, right here, M. And that's it.
Midpoint on the coordinate plane. To find the midpoint, we must use a formula. M equals x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. In this diagram, you can clearly see the midpoint between the coordinates A and B. Plugging into the formula, A will equal x1 and y1, and B will equal x2 and y2. In this example, how do we find the midpoint? First, we find out points A and B. And B, as we can see, is 6, 2. And A is 3, 5. Now what do? We use the formula. The midpoint formula, again, is M equals x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Now that we have our formula, we substitute. M equals the x coordinates 3 and 6. 3 plus 6 divided by 2, comma, the y coordinates 4 and 2. 4 plus 2 divided by 2. Now we add. M equals 9 divided by 2, comma, 6 divided by 2. Now we divide. M equals 9 divided by 2, which equals 4.5, and 6 divided by 2, which equals 3. And that is our midpoint. M equals 4.5, 3.
For the next part of our lesson, you're going to be able to find an endpoint. Vanessa, guess what?
What?
To find the endpoint, you still use the midpoint formula.
No way. How?
I'll show you.
Okay.
Yes, you still use the midpoint formula. So M equals x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. You are given the midpoint of CD and one endpoint, which is C. So what is endpoint D? When C equals 4, 2, and D we don't know, and M equals, which is midpoint, 5, 3.5. Okay, now let's solve this. let's try to find the x and d. So, we have this equation. We have to multiply 2 by both sides, so that one cancels out. So it becomes 10 equals 4 plus x2. Now subtract 4 from both sides, and you get 6 equals x2. So, the first part of D is 6. Now let's find y. Alright, here's our equation for y. 3.5 equals 2 plus y2 over 2. So once again, we will multiply both sides by 2, so that 2 cancels out. We get 7 equals 2 plus y2. Subtract 2 by both sides. 5 equals y2, so D is 6, 5. And that is how you find the endpoint D in CD.
The distance formula. D equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Find the distance between C and D when C equals -8 and 3 and when D equals 7, -2. First, we use the distance formula. D equals, we substitute x2, which is 7, minus x1, which is -8, square, plus y2, which is -2, minus y1, which is 3, squared. Then we simplify. D equals 7 minus -8, 15 squared, plus -2 minus 3, -5 squared. Then we simplify again. D equals 15 squared, which is 225, plus -5 squared, which equals 25. Now we add. D equals 225 plus 25, which equals 250. To find the solution, we must use our calculator. Once you get your calculator, you type in the square root of 250, and you get 15.81138883. But that is too long, so you round it to the nearest 10th, which would then be D equals 15.8. And that is the distance between C and D.
Lesson check.
Do you know your formulas?
What is the formula for midpoint on a number line? If you chose A, m equals a plus b over 2, then you are correct.
What is the formula for midpoint on the coordinate plane? You answered C, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2, then you are correct.
And this one's my favorite.
And what is the distance formula? If you chose C, D equals x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, you are correct. Congratulations, now you know everything about lesson 1-7.
Don't you feel accomplished?
You should.